What's going on, guys? Love Smash back on an all new video for you guys today, and in today's video we're going to be discussing DLC and what could possibly be coming via DLC regarding characters, stages, and we're also going to talk about assist trophies and the character select screen, so on and so forth. But let's talk about DLC for a second. Now, we are getting some sort of DLC with the inclusion of Mewtwo. I'm sure you guys all know that by now, but regarding paid DLC, we have no confirmation from Sakurai nor Nintendo. The only thing Nintendo had to say about paid DLC was no comment. So, when it comes to Mewtwo, a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to get Mewtwo. All we know so far is that if you have both versions of the game, you'll get Mewtwo. Now, a lot of people don't know how this is actually going to work. But according to Nintendo of UK via Twitter, they have confirmed this a little while ago on how to get Mewtwo. And a few people were thinking by connecting both versions that was going to happen, but that is not the case. All you have to do is have both versions, you register both versions in a promotional period, and you get Mewtwo for free. Again, both versions, promotional period, Mewtwo for free. So now it brings up the question, what happens if you don't register both versions during that time period? Does Mewtwo go out the door? What's going to happen with that? Or do you have to register both versions and then pay a price? Which, that makes no sense to me. What I personally think, that's where paid DLC is going to come in. For those of us who do not have both versions, I feel like this is more of like a promotional thing for people who went out, got both versions. They'll get Mewtwo in advance before everyone else who either doesn't have both versions or who missed the cutoff to get them for free. That's what I kind of think the case is here, and that's where paid DLC is going to come in. That's just my take on it. I don't know if anyone has a different take on it, but that's what I personally think. I said this in previous videos as well. Nintendo would be very foolish not to cash in with DLC for Smash Bros. They've done it for Mario Golf. They've done it with Mario Kart 8. The phenomenon Smash Bros is and how much it's going to sell, I think DLC is a perfect thing for Nintendo. Another hint that I think we're going to get DLC, maybe not paid on this, but during the 50s Fact Extravaganza, they talked about the Miiverse stage, which is not going to be done by the time the game comes out, or it may not be done. So what's going to happen with that? I personally think that's either going to be paid DLC, or maybe free DLC when they finally finish it. You'll be able to download it for free via a patch, or just free DLC. Same thing with Tourney. They've said in the 50 Fact Extravaganza, Tourney is not going to be ready by the time the game comes out. So there's going to be maybe like through an update, a patch, free DLC, whatever. But along the lines of paid DLC with Mewtwo, that's what I personally think is going to happen. You'll get Mewtwo for free if you have both versions early than everybody else, but then the time comes where he'll be paid. And you have to buy him for maybe like $5, or possibly maybe this is where the amiibos are going to come in. Maybe the Mewtwo amiibo will come out, and when you buy that, you scan it, and that's unlocking Mewtwo. Or maybe the Mewtwo amiibo will come in like a download code that you input, and that's the way to get Mewtwo. So that's just some of my takes and theories on the whole situation, but now let's talk about some other stuff here. And DLC has been an ongoing thing for a couple months now because of the 3DS version. Like everyone knows, on the 3DS version, there are those 4 missing spaces on the character select screen, and a lot of people have been saying these belong to DLC characters. Well, Mewtwo is obviously going to take up one of those spaces now, but that still leaves us with 3 open ones. Not only that, we have the stage select screen, that empty spot there, which a lot of people have taken that as maybe that's the spot for more DLC stages or a next page. And there's also that empty space even on the item select screen, which led a lot of people to believe maybe we're getting DLC items. Now, we have those, like I said, in those spaces, there's those arrows that were found when somebody hacked the game, which some people are actually calling fake, but there's nothing to disprove this. But these were found on the character and stage select screen, and there's no reasoning to why they're there. So this led people to believe there could be DLC. But now I want to talk about the character select screen on the Wii U version. And as you'll notice, you'll know that Bowser Jr., Jigglypuff, Ness, and Ganondorf are there from the start, which gives us a roster of 40 characters. But there's still 9 characters that need to be unlocked, and Mewtwo for a total of 10. Now, if you look on the top row, there's 10 boxes there. The next row, there's 12. Then there's 10 again on the third row. And then there's 9 in the bottom row. So if the roster was going to go 12, 12, 12, and 12, that would only be 48 spots. So you're still missing 2 characters plus Mewtwo. Now, there's a couple things they could do here. If you shrink the portraits a tiny bit, you see that empty space that was on the side, you'd be able to fit all these extra spaces here, which would fit all 9 of the unlockable characters, plus Mewtwo, plus an extra space, possibly for DLC. Maybe when you click on it, it'll open up a second box, and that will feature DLC characters. There's the possibility that if the portraits were shrunk a bit more, you could fit another 4 spaces on the side, giving up 4 more spaces. Or there's maybe a possibility that a 5th row will open up, and that will feature the missing characters. There's a lot of possibilities here. We don't know how the character select screen is going to look, or if we are even getting characters via DLC. We only know Mewtwo so far. But now I want to talk about assist trophies for a second, and this has been a debate as well. A lot of people are speculating why there are missing assist trophies. Sakurai has already stated that a few assist trophies will be different from the 3DS version and Wii U version. So here are the assist trophies that are missing, and we have no confirmation if they are going to return in the Wii U version. We still don't know just yet. But I want to talk about some of these for a second, and I want to start off by talking about Barber and the Excitebike Racer. They appear as trophies in the 3DS version, but yet they do not appear as assist trophies. Maybe they will be Wii exclusive, maybe they won't. We don't know just yet. But I want to talk about the Excitebike Racer for a second. As you'll see here, it could just be just the Excitebike Racer model in 3D. We know as an assist trophy he was pixelated. But the reason I bring him up is because he was actually considered as a playable character in Melee. I just want to throw that little tidbit in there if you guys didn't know. And they ended up choosing the Ice Climbers because they couldn't believably make him jump around. But it's strange that they do not appear as assist trophies in the 3DS version. Maybe they're going to be Wii U exclusive. Also brings us to characters like Gray Fox. If Snake's not going to be in the game, Gray Fox is not going to be an assist trophy. And it also brings us to Isaac now. Why is Isaac not an assist trophy in the 3DS version? It's very strange that Isaac does not appear, or any Golden Sun representation does not appear in the 3DS version, a trophy, anything, considering Golden Sun has only appeared on handheld consoles. So it is very strange. So maybe Isaac did get the bump up to playable character. We don't know. Or maybe Golden Sun was just cut entirely out of Smash Bros. We'll talk about Isaac a little later in the video, but along the lines of the other assist trophies, maybe there were limitations. For instance, like, remember like Ray MK3 was so tiny in Brawl, maybe they couldn't make him work on the 3DS version, so maybe he'll be Wii U exclusive. Maybe the same thing happened with the other ones. We don't know, but just want to bring that up. But now let's talk about some characters for possible DLC. And the characters you're seeing now are not what you would call highly requested. These are characters, like, they have a certain fan base, but they're not like highly requested. Like, people aren't going on certain videos or articles or writing petitions and signing them to get these characters in. But I wanted to bring up some characters that are highly requested. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to bring up the Famitsu article yet again, where Sakurai talks about how characters are chosen for the roster. And if you guys did not see this article, I did a video about it. I will put the link in the description and in the comments so you guys can check it out. But here are the main points of that article. And by the way, those characters you just saw pictured earlier, I'm not ruling them out and saying they can't be included. I just wanted to focus on the highly requested characters for this video. But anyway, about this article, Sakurai talks about some things that play into character selection. For example, they conduct popularity polls to see the popular and requested characters. They research games that are currently being developed to see if the character is still relevant. They see if there's anything unique or interesting about a character that would be good for Smash Bros. They see if the character is like a representative of their own series. And he also says that something that stands out about a character is good. But the main thing that I found interesting was he said that a character with no future are rarely picked. And also that characters that tend to switch models are a different matter. But in the end, it all comes down to the development team of who they want or don't want to be included. But anyway, let's talk about some requested characters now. But just want to say one thing before that. Mewtwo appeared as a trophy prior, so this settles the great trophy debate, which a lot of people said if a character appears prior to the reveal as a trophy, that deconfirms them. That is not true. If a character has a trophy, it doesn't mean anything. They can still be playable. So anyway, guys, let's talk about some requested characters here and talk about why they would make great additions to the roster. Now, let's start with Impa. Now, Impa isn't a highly requested character, but she is a character who has appeared on a number of leaks that did turn out to be fake, but that has like upped her increase in popularity. Now, she's a character from the Zelda series, and she's probably like the next up Zelda character. She's appeared in like over like 7 or 8 games. She's relevant again with Hyrule Warriors. It adds another female rep to the roster. So that's with Impa. And moving on to our next characters with Bandana D and Magolor from the Kirby series. Now, Bandana Waddle Dee's been highly requested. Magolor, not so much. I just think Magolor has a very interesting moveset that could be translated in the game. And if we are going to get more characters with DLC, it would not surprise me if Sakurai wanted to add another Kirby character, because it's his series and he's always going to like play favorites with that series. So I think it would come down to those two. Bandana Waddle Dee would probably be more likely, considering the more history he has with Waddle Dee in the series. Magolor is kind of like that new character, and Bandana Waddle Dee seems to be very popular, but Magolor has a very interesting moveset, plus that could be like, this could be like his final smash. He transforms into that giant form of his. But anyway, that's just some ideas for him. Moving on to our next character with a Rhythm Heaven representative. And ever since the Sneaky Spirit in Smash Run, people have been trying to figure out if we are going to get a Rhythm Heaven representative as a playable character. And I did a video about this already, talking about Rhythm Heaven reps. And there is no set main character in the Rhythm Heaven series. Like, every series has a main character. The Rhythm Heaven series doesn't. And I said if they were to get a representative, like it would come down to maybe like these would be my 3 picks at least, with Marshall, Karate Joe, or the Chorus Men. Marshall would be my likely choice considering he's kind of like the poster boy for Rhythm Heaven Fever. So that's why I'd pick him. They can kind of like implement all the like aspects, end games of Rhythm Heaven into his moveset. My next pick would be Karate Joe based on the fact he is a fighter and he's appeared in all 3 Rhythm Heaven games. And my last pick would be the Chorus Men. A lot of people want the Chorus Men. Ever since the Gamatsu leak, people have been wanting the Chorus Men in there. But I just can't like see how they would work. If Sakurai couldn't get the Ice Climbers to work, I don't know how he would get 3 characters with the Chorus Men to work. But maybe we could be shocked here, but those are my views on a Rhythm Heaven representative. Marshall would be 1, followed by Karate Joe, followed by the Chorus Men. Now moving on to Chibi Robo. Now Chibi Robo is another character who is not highly requested. I just think he's a very unique character. He's appeared in 4 games. He starred in all 4. He has a moveset that's practically written for him. It just comes down to, is he a popular character? Like, it hasn't been a series that's sold particularly well. And if he was to be a character, can you size him up like they did with Olimar since he is very tiny? And he'd have to be a character like Pichu where he'd have to take damage. If you ever played his game, he loses battery life. So he'd have to be a character like that where he'd take damage for using attacks. Now moving on to our next character is Crystal, and I have seen people sign petitions they want Crystal in so bad. She'd be a good choice. She'd add another female rep to the roster, and they could do a lot with her moveset besides her just being another Star Fox clone. They can do guns, machine guns, her staff, grenades. There's a lot you could do there with Crystal. Moving on to our next character with King K. Rool. A lot of people have been requesting King K. Rool. He's been requested for so long, why has he not been playable? And I said this in previous videos, I think it just comes down to his relevance. I mean, here's a character who went from being the main villain in the Donkey Kong series to having his last appearance in 2008 in Brawl as a trophy, last playable appearance in Mario Super Sluggers. I mean, I know a lot of people will argue and say the Donkey Kong Country series, the new developers, they wanted new blood and they wanted to do something different with the series, so they cut the Kremlings out. It's possible maybe the Kremlings as enemies in Smash Run can help to further King K. Rool's inclusion. We don't know yet. I do love King K. Rool. Like I said in previous videos, Donkey Kong Country being the first game I ever played. So now let's finally talk about Isaac. And there's no doubt Isaac would be a unique and great choice for the roster. He's kind of like Robin. He's kind of like that sword fighter, but he's got like his Psy energy attacks for projectiles and stuff. But now it begs the question, since he's so popular, why hasn't he been playable? And why is he not an assist trophy in the 3DS version? Is it possible he's Wii U exclusive? Is it possible he's made the jump to a playable character? We don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait till we see some footage of the Wii U version to know. But I said this in a previous video about Isaac. I think one thing that may hurt his chances is actually something Sakurai mentioned in that article, is the fact that his model changes from game to game. He went from being 14 in one to 17 in the other to in his 30s in the other. So maybe that's something that hurt his chances a little bit because the model keeps changing. But if they were to put him in, a lot of people view the 14-year-old Isaac from the original Golden Sun as the poster boy of the series. So if he was to be included, that's the model I think they would go with. But now let's move on to a WarioWare representative. WarioWare has been a series for a while now. It's spawned a lot of games. So is it possible we could be seeing a WarioWare rep as playable? Maybe like Mona or Jimmy T or 9Vote or Orbulon as a playable character? Who knows? It's a popular series that spawned a lot of games. Maybe it's a possibility. But now let's talk about the cut characters that people want to return. There's 4 characters that people have been requesting for a while to return, with Roy, Wolf, Lucas, and Snake. Now, I feel like if a lot of people may request them, maybe Sakurai will say, maybe I will bring these characters back. Snake, I do feel is a little unlikely, considering he is third party and Konami didn't work on the game. But anything, I guess, is possible. And speaking of third party characters, let's talk about Rayman and Bayonetta. Now, Bayonetta, if she wasn't a Nintendo-owned, I'd say she'd probably be in this game. But the fact that Platinum Games owns her and we have more iconic third-party characters, I really don't think they need her. Sorry to the Bayonetta fans. And we still have the mystery of why Rayman's trophy's in the game. I guess we'll find out soon. Maybe he's going to be on the way to DLC. They have the model. Maybe not. But now I want to give you guys my top 3 choices for DLC characters. And my first choice is my girl Dixie, the last remaining character from my top 10 video. I'm still supporting her. Great potential moveset. Really hoping she's included. There's a lot they could do with her moveset and another female rep. Moving on to my next pick with Sceptile. Now I know a lot of you guys may be saying another Pokemon rep. We would have got Mewtwo. I know, I'm aware. But it would round out the grass with fire and water types. It'd rep Gen 3, which is relevant again with the new Ruby and Sapphire games on 3DS. There's a lot they could do with his moveset. Bullet Seed, Leaf Blade, Pound, Solar Beam, and he's got his Mega Evolution too. Moving on to my final pick with the Ice Climbers. Now Sakurai has stated with the Wii U version they were working fine, but with the 3DS version he couldn't make them work. So barring some miracle, bring the Ice Climbers back, but split them up. A lot of people want them back, so maybe if Sakurai sees that, he'll bring them back. And I wasn't a fan of this idea when I first heard it, because it kind of takes their one defining feature away. But I was playing Ice Climber the other day, and I was like, you know what? It's not so bad. All you got to do is change their up beating move, maybe to something like this Condor Pterodactyl thing, make their attacks a little stronger, give Popo and Nana alternate costumes, and that's all you got to do. But anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Share your thoughts, who you'd like to see if we get DLC, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.